Um, a big yap today. I'm gonna talk about mental health actually, or like my experience with it, because I feel like it's kind of important to talk about. Really important. I'm in nursing school. I'm going into my third semester, so I will graduate in less than a year. And man, I see things come together like this, and it applies to my life, and it's really interesting. Um, so I'm gonna be like really transparent and like open up about my life and my experience with it. And if people want to judge, then y'all are like sad human beings. Because mental health affects literally everybody. It is what drives your behaviors and like what you do every day and how you think. And so it's very important. And some strangers might watch this, some people I know might watch this, some people might not know about this stuff. Um, but I'll just get right into it. By the way, I like I woke up a little bit ago, so I don't have like makeup on or anything. I look like crap, I know. Um Wearing one of my dad's old shirts that he's had for like 50 years, you know. Um but yeah, I'm not really trying to impress anybody. My big thing here is that I want to be really transparent about things and show people that you don't have to put on a face. You can be yourself. All being on the internet. Now it's not necessarily like an influencer thing, but I just like to like it's like a documenting thing. Like this account, I kind of like to document things. Like I like to yap or I like to do music and stuff and just put my stuff out there. I don't really care if I get like viral or anything. I definitely don't want to be famous or rich or anything like that. But like if there's somebody out there who sees one of my little videos with like 2 likes and they're like, "What is this?" Um like maybe I'll touch some hearts. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm hoping. But yeah, as I said before, excuse me, I'm in nursing school. Graduate in a year. So with my ADN degree, so I will take the NCLEX to become an RN and then hopefully work in a hospital. Hopefully the same place I'm working at now as a nurse assistant. Um but like some things about me, let me just get right into it. I know it's been 2 minutes already. But I was diagnosed with OCD in middle school. To be fair, my mom and I both knew that I had it way earlier than that. I started showing signs when I was like 4. Oh, it's getting cold in here. Give me a blanket. Sorry, my dogs are sleeping on my bed. Um, and they like to hog the whole bed and all the blankets. Anyways, so that was about in middle school, and it used to be really, really bad. Not as bad as like some of the crazy cases where hair in my mouth, where like these individuals would like have to tie their shoes a certain way, they'd have to walk a certain way on the sidewalk. If they see a certain color car, they have to walk back to their house and start over, like crazy stuff like that. But the thing is when you have OCD, that's not crazy because you understand it. Like, but the general public or people that haven't experienced OCD. By the way, let me explain what it is if people don't know what it is. Obsessive compulsive disorder. And the best way I can explain it to somebody who has no idea what it is or like what it's like or anything like that. You kind of have to dissect the words. So obsessive, we know what that means. We know that obsessive typically means that you are thinking about something constantly and it's hard to shake it off because it's just on your mind 24/7. Um so obsessive, we know what that means. Compulsive. People might think that that means impulsive. That's not true. Compulsive is a little different. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like with OCD, you have obsessions that turn into compulsions. So the compulsion is like the behavior that comes from the obsession. It's a good movie, by the way, watch it. Um, but it comes from the obsession, and so essentially, like, people have probably heard about light switches in OCD. I'll explain that real quick because I have had that before. It's not quite like a stem, but it's like something you have to follow, if that makes sense. OCD is really, really weird. It's caused by like a chemical imbalance, and basically, I've had situations where I have walked into a room and felt the need to flick a light switch multiple times, a certain number of times, by the way. A certain number, it's a set number. let's say my number was 10. Just hang in there with me, okay? Just stay with me. Let's say my number was 10. I walk into a room and the lights are off and I flick the light switch on and then my brain is like shouting the number 10 at me. You need to flip this 10 times or your family's going to die in a car crash. Like, hello? I didn't ask for that, you know? But that is genuinely what OCD is like. So it's really debilitating and really weird. And a lot of people think that OCD is just being organized. Let me sort my pencils by color. No, that's not at all what OCD is like. Although a lot of people can have the signs of OCD that are like obsessive cleanliness because they're, afraid of germs or, because I have had that before. I always keep hand sanitizer on me. But granted, I have an excuse. I work at a hospital, so I gotta keep my hands clean. You always need to keep your hands clean. Anyways, let me get on somewhere else. But like, it's not cleanliness. It's not organization. It is like I need to follow these really weird rules that my brain gives me, and I don't understand them, but I have to follow them. And for a lot of people, OCD is tied to anxiety. And I also was diagnosed with anxiety around the same time. And this was really debilitating. Let me tell you, it's bad. I would have a weird dream or like a bad dream, and I would tell my mom about it. And we had this system, we called them like worries. If you have a worry, come to me, kind of thing. And I would tell my mom all about it because she has OCD. So she gets it. She knows what it's like. And she did really good trying to like help me growing up, and like she gave me like OCD books and things like that to kind of help me understand it, which really helped, by the way. There was this one book called OC Flea that was really good at describing everything. So if you have a kid with OCD, try buying them that because it's a really good book. Um, Lord, where was I going with this? My mom really helped me out, and we would talk about things that my brain would come up with that um, I hated, like whether they were like dreams or random thoughts I've had. Your brain kind of is your enemy when you have OCD. Um, it's never really been a big help. It's just with OCD, sometimes your brain tells you things that you don't want to think at all. So like with the compulsions with like the light switch or the I don't know, turning on the sink or like starting your car however many times, whatever it may be, your brain tells you that you need to do this or else somebody's going to die or something really bad's going to happen or you're going to throw up in a few hours or like whatever it may be. It's completely like individual specific. Um don't mix it up with like schizophrenia or like bipolar or anything like that. It's its own thing. Um, but it causes a lot of anxiety in people. And another situation with my mental health that some people know, some people don't. I have a metaphobia, which is phobia of vomit. So I'm scared of vomit, and that stemmed from like being sick all the time as a kid and whatever. But my OCD would tie with that as well, and it was like my brain would build this arsenal against me where like one of my worries was throwing up. And so if I didn't do certain things, I would throw up or my family would die or like whatever. Um and so as you can tell, it's very debilitating, and I don't think I described it very well. I don't think I shed a ton of light on it, but I'm not trying to sit here and be like, well, I have OCD, I'm insufferable, but it is hard to explain to those who don't really know what it's like, I guess. And that's not sitting here trying to like exclude anybody. That's literally just me saying like it's like a first-hand thing. Like it's really weird. The best way I can describe it is that your brain tells you these bad messages that you have to follow a certain protocol, a certain rule it gives you, or else somebody's gonna die. It's really really weird. There are some like popular like influencers that have spoken on it before. Um, so yeah, I recommend like doing research on it if you're curious about it because it is really really weird and it's not talked about enough. No mental health situation is talked about enough though. There are so many stigmas, misunderstandings, and people probably think, well, why can't you just go against your thoughts? You can't. You can't. Like, it's like you have to follow this, or else you're going to be in like a super, super bad anxiety pit. Like, you're gonna feel like crap about yourself, and you just have to do it. Like, that's the compulsion part of it. The obsession is your brain telling you that, hey, you're gonna die, and you're gonna think about that until you give in and do like the compulsion. And then breaking up the last word, disorder. It's a disorder. Okay, it's not like just a thing you do. It's a disorder. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain. I'm pretty sure it's like dopamine and serotonin. Um, so major neurotransmitters are thrown off, and that's why it is the way it is. And I'm pretty sure it's genetic because it went through with my family a lot. So yeah. So as you can tell, that brought a lot of anxiety in my life. And I hopped on medication at in like middle school, like 8th grade. And that's when COVID started for me, by the way. So 8th grade was like, we had a 4-day break. Sorry, I need some water. Ignore how this is like a sippy cup. I left straw. We had like a 4-day break. And that's when I started my medication. I started an SSRI, Lexapro, or escitalopram. Serotonin, or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So basically it keeps serotonin in your synapse, and it kind of helps to like regulate, you have serotonin kind of around more, so you can have the beneficial effects of it, and it kind of helps to like offset OCD, if that makes sense, because I think OCD is a serotonin deprived kind of thing. I could be wrong. I kind of need to do my research on it. I just know the experience, but excuse me. So I hopped on that. And then the 4-day break turned out to be like a year, 2 years. So I had a lot of time to see how my life adjusted on it. And at first I didn't notice anything because SSRIs take like a month to work. But I started experiencing less OCD symptoms. I had less obsessions. I had less compulsions. And sometimes I still have some every now and then. But the only thing it really is like I have to like double tap something with my finger a certain number of times. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. Ask my boyfriend. He's like, why are you touching me? I just have to tap you. Like, I'm sorry. But he understands. He'll bring his face forward so I can like tap his cheek. Listen, it's weird. I'm telling you, it's weird. Well, it's not weird. It's not abnormal. We need to normalize talking about mental health disorders. But like it's silly, honestly. But like it feels silly, but it's not. But anyways, so I had a lot of time to see how it affected my life, and something my doctor said, because I was going to a pediatrician, I was like, what, 13? She said, everything kind of goes like that. Your highs get a little more chill, your lows get a little more chill. So that helps to control the anxiety a lot, actually. Think about your highs as having like those obsession, compulsive like feelings, and then your lows is like I guess maybe the depression aspect or the anxiety aspect, like pew, it kind of brings everything to a baseline. And I've been experiencing that for a long time. And I used to think that it was like a apathy thing. Like I used to think that I had SSRI induced apathy, because that is a thing actually. And I might, but I wouldn't say it's an apathy thing. I'm gonna get into that later though, because I've experienced it like a lot, like these past few months, this summer, and I'm trying to figure out what it is, and I don't think it's apathy, because apathy is like you just don't care, like you just feel like you don't care about things. I know I care about things, but like it's just, I'll get into that later. But something that SSRIs do, obviously they regulate your emotions, and it brings everything to kind of a chilled out baseline. So it's a little bit hard to feel super happy about things, and it's hard to feel super sad about things. Like I have a hard time crying. As funny as it sounds. I mean, I can cry, it just takes a lot to get there. Okay, so it's hard to really feel like super sad at times, but it's also hard to feel super happy at times. And I'm a really bubbly person, and I talk a lot and things like that. But that isn't a huge reflection of what's going on like mentally. Like that's just my personality. That's not really my feelings. That's just my personality. And your feelings can be kind of different. So essentially, I started feeling that kind of baseline stuff. But I would still have anxiety issues. But it didn't feel linked to OCD. It was more linked to my phobia. So instead of feeling obsessions and compulsions of, oh, I have to do this, I started getting really anxious about food, about eating things that were bad for me. I was always checking my chicken to make sure it was cooked and stuff like that because I was scared of throwing up. And it wasn't an ED situation. That's not what it was. Like I don't have a problem eating, okay? I'll eat, you know what I mean? Um I'm a little bit of a big bag. But I would get kind of anxious. Like if I ate too much and I felt the weight on my stomach, I was scared I was going to be sick. Um and that was like a big thing that happened even when I was on Lexapro, or I am on Lexapro, but like even when I started it or had been on it for a while, I was having really bad phobia induced anxiety. Um and it got to the point where, ask my best friend, I would have like attacks in bathrooms and stuff. It sounds interesting. I mean, I like to laugh about stuff. That's like, you know, that's how I talk about stuff. But God, I remember one time we went to homecoming, and I have a sugar thing. I love sugar, but if I eat too much, I start getting anxious about it. Whatever, because you know, sugar, you might get sick. Whatever, you eat too much. But we went to homecoming, and it was so much fun. And there were a lot of cookies there, and they were really good. And I ate one too many, and I drank a lot of water, and I felt the weight on my stomach. And I'm like, oh my god, my brain started freaking out. It was like this gut brain thing where it was like my gut was communicating to my brain, hey, I'm really really full, and then my brain's like, oh my god, we're full, we need to freak out. So I hung out in the bathroom for the rest of homecoming, and I was never sick. I was just anxious. I was just really anxious. Like hyperventilating, hanging onto the rails, and they're like like staring at the toilet like and like there's like nothing you can really do to get out of it. Like you just have to wait it out. And my hands started going numb. I was all sweaty. I was like, oh my god. Granted, that could have been a panic attack, not an anxiety attack. I don't really know the difference. I mean, the difference is like panic attack, you feel like you can't breathe. I always said that they were anxiety attacks because I didn't want to sit here and act like they were super severe. But like, I would be shaking a lot. My fingers would go numb. And it was eventually the end of homecoming, and my friend was like, yo, Kaylee, like, we gotta go. I don't say my real name, Lord. But anyways, she's like, hey, we gotta go. They're cleaning up. And I'm like, so she like dragged me out of the bathroom. And I drove her, so I had to drive her home. And I was fine with that. I was fine, especially when I'm taking care of other people. I kind of like don't think about how I'm feeling. So I'm like on the wheel, like, but I'm doing okay. I'm driving. I'm just breathing. I'm trying to chill out. And I start like crying. um and she's like, "Girl, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, just anxious." And I drove her home. It was fine. I got home safe. But then I was just sitting in my car crying the rest of the night. And not the rest of the night. It was like a few minutes. I'm sorry, I'm being dramatic, but I got photos too. My makeup was so good. I was looking so cute, and I was just crying in my car. Um, Usually it's kind of funny with my anxiety, like crying helps. It's like an outlet. It kind of helps get it out. But of course, your girl has trouble crying because I'm on an SSRI, so I have to like try to cry. Like it's really really weird. Unless I'm really really anxious and I start just crying, like whatever. Um, that was when it was really bad. Um, so then I got hydroxyzine prescribed, obviously. That is an antihistamine, believe it or not. Um, it's usually used for like allergic reactions, I think, but it really chills you out. It's almost like Benadryl if you think about it. Diphenhydramine. Sorry, I just got out of pharmacology. Um, but it basically I got it in the syrup form because the pill was like way too much. Because I'd be like after taking that pill, you know what I mean. The liquid, the syrup, was very helpful because you can kind of taper the dose to like 5 to 10 or 5 to 15 milliliters or whatever. And so I would take that, and I started taking that before a situation where I thought maybe I could be anxious in, and it helped me so much. I still have it, but I don't need it anymore because for some reason, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because I grew up or had life experience or what, but I started like just not being anxious about anything. I don't know. Mental health is weird. It evolves inside the person. It's so weird. Um So yay, congrats for me. I don't have anxiety really anymore. Sometimes I will still take the syrup if I feel like I'm like going to be anxious in a situation like a road trip or something, because sometimes I get like a little motion sick, I get like a headache and feel like really weird in cars sometimes, so I'll take that to kind of like help me chill out and like sleep a little bit. But it's also very helpful after an anxiety attack because you can rest and recoup, and it just helps to calm you down. Like it literally just calms your nervous system down. Um so yeah. Um love love oh lord, what's its name? I literally just said it. I love the syrup and I love Lexapro. Live laugh love Lexapro. Um Now granted it doesn't work on everybody. I'm just talking about my experience. But yeah, um what else? What else should I talk about? I'm still dealing with some of the effects of the Lexapro making me feel kind of like that. Um because lately this summer I felt like something was kind of off. Let me explain. SSRIs are primarily antidepressants. But they're used for anxiety and stuff. And now I don't think I ever really had depression. Okay, I don't want to sit here and say I'm depressed because I don't have a diagnosis. Um, I was never diagnosed with it, but I've shown like some signs. Like, what is my computer? My PC is like freaking out. But I've shown some signs in a way like I would lay in bed all day, or I would be kind of tired, so I'd take a nap and then I would sleep through dinner. So it'd be like 3 p.m. to like 9 p.m. I'd be sleeping during the day, and then I would sleep a lot during the nighttime and wake up at like 2 p.m. And it made me feel like crap. Okay, it made me feel like crap. So I kind of been dealing with that, but also like a lot of it is lifestyle. And as a nursing student, I see now how much lifestyle has an effect on literally everything that you do, um, or how you feel. You know what I mean? So like this summer, I don't. It might have been burnout. It might have been like feeling like I wasn't enough in nursing school because it felt like there was always something I was doing wrong. Lord have mercy. My instructor was super good, but I don't know. I got humbled that semester. Do better next time, right? But basically, I, I was burnt out. I was tired all the time. I felt like crap, and I procrastinated so bad on my tests. And I'm normally like an all A student, or at least a really high beat. But then I started making like close to 80s, and like I literally saw my grades drop, and I knew it wasn't anything else. Like I knew it wasn't my boyfriend because I don't see him. I only see him like maybe like once a week because we're both super busy. And it wasn't like anything. It wasn't no video games, anything like that. Because I would literally just lay in bed all day. So, sometimes I'd be watching YouTube and fall asleep to that. Whatever. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. But it ended up being the enemy because I would just sleep all the time. My mama can attest. She started saying I was like a stray cat. I only come down to eat, and the rest of the time I'm up in my room. And yeah, I'm in nursing school and I still live at home, by the way, because shit's expensive. Sorry for cursing, but you know how it is. Um, so that's kind of been going on. I thought it was medication induced apathy for a while, as I said before, but I don't think that's actually what it is. I think it's lifestyle because I've been experiencing kind of those depressive symptoms, sort of ish, kind of, and I figured it was lifestyle because it kind of popped up this summer and it got kind of worse. Um, and so I decided let me try and just take control of my life, even though I feel like I can't do anything. Not that I don't want to, I just can't get myself to do it. But I'm like, you know what? Let's try one step at a time because you can't overload your brain with stuff, right? So I'm like, let's take one step at a time and let's start waking up earlier because I always feel better and more productive when I wake up really early. Even though it sucks because I'm like a really sleepy person, I like to sleep a lot and I kind of have a dependence on caffeine. Um, but I like to sleep. But the last few days I started waking up around 7 a.m. So I naturally woke up between 6 and 7. Um, so that made me feel a lot better. Waking up when my body naturally wanted to wake up rather than like waiting for my alarm to go off. Cause like sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, and I gotta wait for my alarm to go off and whatever, but my body naturally wanted to wake up at that time. And I went with it. And you know what? I felt freaking great. I felt great the rest of the day. And so it says my storage is low, so pardon me. But we're gonna wrap this up. But it affected me so much in a good way, and I feel so much better now. Just waking up early and doing things that I know are good for me, but it's hard to take that first step, especially if it's not a habit. But yeah, that's kind of what I got. That's my experience with mental health, at least like a fraction of it, a part of it. Um, I'm down to do like a part two of this. If anybody watches this, let me know. Let me know if you want like a part two so I can kind of talk about how it affects me now in my daily life rather than like back then. But yeah, I just wanted to shed some light on some things that are kind of in the shadows, not really talked about, and maybe somebody can relate, and maybe it helps to understand that, you know, someone else is going through this too and you're not alone. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, just want to be transparent, and I know it's different from my other stuff, but like I said, I'm gonna just do whatever I want on this channel. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Yeah, let me know if you want part two. And yeah, I'll be back soon, hopefully. Bye.